Chapter 39, Reunion. Zhang. A crisp sound echoed in the darkness. Lu Zueki, her face as cold as frost, stood in front of Zhang Xiaofan, resolutely drawing her sword. Qianya unsheathed. Blue light burst forth, a pure and radiant beam illuminating the dark world. In an instant, all the ghostly lights of the spirits lost their brilliance before this blue light. Despite this, the spirits seemed unafraid and still rushed forward from all directions. With a light shout, Lu Zueki's pale face showed a trace of pain, but was immediately replaced by a stronger expression. Under her command, the Tianyin divine sword emitted a dazzling blue light, sweeping across the spirits charging ahead. As soon as the blue light touched the spirits, there was an immediate sizzling sound, like frying oil. The leading dozens of spirits instantly vanished, their souls scattered. The sound echoed in the vast and dark place, sending chills down one's spine. Though the power of the Tianyin divine sword was immense, it could not deter the remaining spirits. As Lu Zueki made her move, several spirits attacked the unconscious Zhang Xiaofan from behind. Seeing this from the corner of her eye, Lu Zueki turned back. The Tianyin divine sword swept over Zhang Xiaofan, dispersing the spirits on him. However, the number of spirits around was overwhelming. Too many to kill. Lu Zueki, already injured, soon found herself drenched in sweat and breathing heavily. Ghostly faces surrounded her, wailing and brandishing their claws. The blue light of the Tianyin sword gradually dimmed. Lu Zueki gritted her teeth, but eventually, her legs gave way, and she sat beside Zhang Xiaofan. In the howling of spirits, airy cries of triumph echoed, ghostly white light shone brightly, and the air was filled with a chilling aura. Lu Zueki turned her head, looking at Zhang Xiaofan. Although the young man was unconscious, his face showed signs of pain. Was he thinking of something sad? Lu Zueki murmured softly, "I never thought I would die with you today." She sat up straight, her face devoid of any color, but she still refused to give up. She formed a Lanhewer orchid gesture with her right hand, following her command. The Tianyin divine sword hovered briefly in the air before plunging into the ground in front of her with a zheng sound. Blue light reappeared, forming a circle on the ground centered around the Tianyin sword, enclosing both Lu Zueki and Zhang Xiaofan. The spirits, seeing the enticing flesh and blood right before them, rushed forward. However, the circle of light suddenly expanded upward. Blue light surged, and the light formed an arc over the two, keeping the spirits at bay. However, a keen observer would notice that the light circle was weak. The aura within it was faint, and it was merely Lu Zueki's desperate struggle. The spirits, furious at being denied their prey, wailed louder and louder. Countless spirits hurled themselves against the fragile light circle. Each impact made Lu Zueki tremble, her face growing paler, and the light of the Tianyin sword dimmed further. In a short time, the light circle shrank to less than the height of a person. Lu Zueki, her face as pale as paper, watched the grotesque, menacing faces of the spirits outside the circle, their mouths wide open. She felt as if she had fallen into an icy pit. At that moment, she suddenly heard a faint, unclear voice from the unconscious Zhang Xiaofan beside her. Lu Zueki turned her head abruptly. No words could describe her feelings at that moment. Having fought the spirits alone for so long, hearing her companion's voice suddenly brought an unprecedented joy to her heart. But before she could see Zhang Xiaofan clearly, a sudden change occurred. The ground beneath them, once solid, silently opened up a large hall where Zhang Xiaofan lay, causing him to fall in. Lu Zueki froze for a moment. The hole was pitch black, its depth indiscernible, but deep within, there were a pair of enormous, terrifying, blood-red eyes. Blinking without any hesitation, the light circle of the Tianyin divine sword vanished. Amid the howling spirits, Lu Zueki pulled out the Tianyin and, without a second thought, threw herself into the dark hole. Moments later, all the spirits followed, their piercing howls echoing through the hole. A dull thud sounded in the hole, and moments later, amid the howling spirits, a sharp, ear-piercing roar suddenly erupted. ROER the roar was painful, some who were resembling the furious howl of an injured wild boar. Moments later, a huge figure leapt out of the hole, followed by countless spirits. In the eerie light, Lu Zueki, supporting Zhang Xiaofan with her left hand, leapt out of the ground. Blood trickled from her mouth, and her left side was heavily stained with red, indicating she was also injured. Zhang Xiaofan could only stand with Lu Zueki's support, but his eyes were open, and the burning stick glowed again, albeit faintly, emitting a mysterious cyan light. The young man and woman, in this dark world, supported and relied on each other. Lu Zueki looked at the angry spirits flying above, but not daring to descend. She suddenly felt an indescribable joy in her heart. Although they were not yet of danger, having someone by her side felt really good. Their gazes then fell on the huge shadow ahead. Against the ghostly light, they smelled an intense stench of decay and saw the monster's appearance. It was a giant beast, twice the height of a person, with a pig's head and a dog's body. Its tusks were long and sharp, its body black and covered in bristling brown hair like steel needles. Its huge eyes glowed blood red in the darkness, resembling the red demon eye of the old demon from the Demon Sect. The beast was panting heavily, its black, filthy fur torn open at its left front paw, apparently injured by Lu Zueki. It glared at the two humans who had heard it, its eyes filled with bitter hatred, eager to devour them. The spirits flew around the beast, but did not attack it, indicating they usually coexisted without interfering with each other. Lu Zueki felt pain and exhaustion all over, almost wanting to collapse and sleep, never to think about anything again. But after several struggles, she still forced herself to hold on, whispering to Zhang Xiaofan, "There are too many beasts and spirits here. Who knows what else might come out later? We need to retreat." Zhang Xiaofan had no objections and nodded in agreement. The two of them began to retreat. Unfortunately, every step they took, the spirits followed, and the beast also refused to give up, following them. This constant retreating, with the spirits wary of Zhang Xiaofan's burning stick, and the beast cautious yet relentless, continued. Both Zhang and Lu were already injured. In the damp and dark dead spirit abyss, after continuous fighting, they were exhausted. If not for the spirits and the beast pressuring them, they might have collapsed from fatigue. At this critical juncture, they didn't know where the strength and courage came from, but they managed to hold on. The dead spirit abyss, unknown to righteous people, was an enormous abyss. They had been retreating for a long time, yet still only walk on open ground, nowhere near any cliff. They couldn't figure out how they had ended up in such a far place after falling. They had no time to ponder this, surrounded by threatening beasts and spirits. Their lives were truly at stake. As Zhang and Lu were at a loss, Zhang Xiaofan suddenly felt a pain in his back, hitting something hard. They had been retreating while facing the beast, so they had been walking backward. Suddenly hitting something, Zhang Xiaofan was startled and quickly turned around, only to find it was a large tree. Its trunk so thick that 3 people might not be able to encircle it. Relieved, Zhang Xiaofan told Lu Zueki, who was still watching behind, "It's nothing, just a tree."